Paul, what kind of cheese is never your cheese? Nacho cheese. Welcome to another episode of the Mighty Code Coder. I'm Rob Fitzgerald, here to make you great and help you innovate. Paul, just be cool. That was funny. Nacho cheese. In this episode, we're going to spend some time doing some cleanup in the class composition, a very confusing part of classes and instance variables and constructors. So we are going to go over some conventions that you can use to keep things in order. When I first started coding, I always remember being confused as to what was a reserved word and what was a variable. By the way, the last time I checked, there was 26 reserved words in Java. Now, add global and local variables, parameters and arguments, and wow, things can really get overwhelming. I also remember that sometimes I needed a constructor and other times I didn't. So let's once again use a revamped Mr. Lou's lecture and go over some of these things so we can take a little of the sting off of these topics. All right, so this will be a short one. So let's open a AWS console and go to Cloud9. All right, so on another desktop, I already have AWS set up for you. Let's make sure this thing is out of my way, out of Paul's way, and large enough for you to see on your mobile devices. All right, so first of all, let's go over what I have here, okay? So I'm gonna have a song class, all right? And Mr. Lou's big three is you're gonna have the instance variables. Okay, you have a string, my titles, my artist, and the duration of the song. You have a setter and getter to set the title and the artist. You have a set duration in seconds. You have a get title and get artist, so two getters and setters. So each one has a getter and a setter, so you have get duration, okay? So pretty simple. And then in my song driver, you'll see I will just simply instantiate a new song. One's called Song 1, one's called Song 2. I set the title to Saturday Night by Elton John. This is not actually Elton John. I found in this lecture from Mr. Lou that this was actually Earth, Wind, and Fire. Okay, so that's where me and Mr. Lou and I's music kind of parted there. I thought it was Elton John. He was using Earth, Wind, and Fire, which is great. All right, and Freebird by Leonard Skinner. All right, and if you look at the system.out, it's pretty awesome because you can just go to s1.getArtists and print out what you get from the artist. So a very great way to print stuff out. You don't have to store it in a variable first. Just go get it and print it right to the screen. All right, and if I go ahead and run this, let's go ahead and run this. Make this big enough. All right, I'm already in my classes and I've already compiled it. So I'm going to go ahead and just go Java song driver. If I run it, there it is. It has Elton John Saturday Night 403 and Leonard Skinner Freebird. I guess I compiled it, but it's before I switched it to Earth, Wind, and Fire. So excuse me on that. But listen to either song. Doesn't matter. All right. So there you go. All right. So let's take a look a little closer and see what was really going on here. Okay. First of all, if you noticed in song, there was no constructor, okay? And let's take a look at that now. Scroll back. All right, so now I'm up in here. Here's the song class, and you know, it's Mr. Lou's big three, right? Instance variables, constructor, toString, and it had the toString and the instance variable. Actually, it didn't even have the toString. All right, so this only had his setters and getters and that. So there goes the big three right out the window right away. We actually just did like our own little toString here by doing system.out.println. Okay, so there's many ways to do this, but let's talk about that constructor. How come it ran? There's no constructor in here whatsoever. In Java, if you put no constructor, it has a default constructor with no arguments, okay? But, you know, the power of constructors is you can actually go ahead and instantiate your object with attributes already applied to it, and it saves you time. So when you instantiate it, it has all these attributes set already, so you don't have to set them in the driver like we did here. All right, so let's go ahead and do a multiple argument constructor, and let's do that right after our global variables. All right, so I will go here. Now, a constructor is a method, but it's funny, it has no return type. Remember, if we have a return type, we have to go public and then put the return type next, whether it's going to be a string, an int, an array, or even if it's not going to be anything, a void, but not a constructor. You put nothing here. That's the difference. You just put, it has to be the same name as the class, same name as the file. Okay, so song. And then you put parentheses. All right, now the default constructor would be something like this. Okay, so it would have nothing on it. I'll bring this down here. All right, but we're actually going to bring in some stuff. Okay, so remember we're going to go title, artist, and duration. So let's go string, title. Let's go string, artist, and let's go, my duration will just be an integer. Okay, so those are parameters, okay, or I think they're named arguments on this side. They're arguments. When they come in, they're parameters. That gets confusing. Not a big topic to understand. You could kind of interchange parameters and arguments, but I think if you really want the true definition, it is really when they come in there, they come in as parameters and they get set to the arguments inside the constructor, but don't get stuck on that little stuff. All right, so anyway, so now we can go my title. You can see how Cloud9 just automatically puts in there for you, equals title, my artist equals artist, and then my duration equals duration. Now a convention, okay, convention means basically here's how coders usually do it. Okay, if we talk to you like, if you want to be a lawyer, you better talk like a lawyer. If you want to be a computer scientist, talk like you don't have to, but people will know you're a computer scientist if you code a certain way. So if you go up to your instance variables here, you could see that I put in my title and my artist and my duration. And that kind of means for this class, this is this class's instance variables. Okay, for its instance, this is its variables. Okay, they don't come in from an outside source, they're inside. These are our global variables also because they have, if you're talking about scope, they now could go in every function in here, no problem, like you see them here, my title, all right? So they become globally accepted as far as scope is concerned, okay? But these are the instance variables, okay? And then these become the local arguments. Okay, so these arguments are different, okay, because they can only be used. I couldn't go and use title, well, I did declare a title in here, so you can, but I can't use title in here, okay, because it's just synonymous with that, you know, since it comes in here, you could use it within this, but if I did title here, it wouldn't know, it would say, what is title? I don't get it, okay? You could do my title because my title is global. Okay, all right, so understand global and local variables and understand convention with using my title and my artist and my duration, and understand too that we're going right to left. So whatever's in this title, okay, I'll use cup on the board in my examples. I'm going to do a board talk again, and maybe we'll use some cups, all right, but this title, okay, goes right to left. So whatever's in this title goes into this title. Okay. All right. So let's actually go do that now. I'm going to go ahead and save that. That looks good. All right. And then I'm going to come into the driver. Now, instead of setting them, I can automatically start them up here and just put in Saturday night. All right, it takes 3 parameters. Okay, so let's go. This time let's go Earth, Wind, and Fire as the band instead of Elton John. Sorry, Earth, Wind, and Fire fans. And let's go 403, which is the seconds of the song. Okay, so it took 3, and now we don't even have to do all this. So the constructor saves you some time. Okay, doing it that way. All right, now let's go ahead and run it and see what happens. Does anyone know what's going to happen? Okay, I do. All right, so let's go here and let's go ahead and go back to our here. All right, and let's Java C them. There it is. Oh, got an error. What's the error? All right, so if you look at this, it says found no arguments. Okay, so we tried to instantiate something with no arguments. Reason, actual, and formal argument lists differ. Okay, so this is kind of this little cleaning up I have to do. All right, so if you go in the Zong list, there is no 0 argument constructor. And just a second ago, you're like, wow, I was running without a constructor totally, and it just defaulted to it. Once you put a constructor in with arguments, you no longer get the default constructor. Okay, so now we got to create one. So think about whether you want to put in multiple argument constructors because you get the default one for free. So now we got to put it in. So let's go public song and put nothing in there. All right, let's actually put it to null. Let's go my title equals null. Let's go my artist equals null. Now null is a word for a string that's empty. Okay, and so let's go my duration equals 0 since it's a integer. Okay, all right. So there we go. There you got that. That looks good. Let's save that. Okay, we are not going to do anything here. Okay, because can anyone guess what's going to happen? All right, so something's going to happen a little different. All right, so I saved it. Now I got to go ahead and Java C it again. I run it. I got no errors. That's good. Or is it? All right, let me go CD over to classes. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you guys can see this. All right, and let's Java the song driver. All right, there we go. Look at that. So the multiple argument constructor kicked out Earth, Wind, and Fire Saturday night, 403 seconds. But the default of the nulls kicked out Leonard Skinner, Freebird. And I thought we set to null, null, and 0. So what happened? Let's go back. All right, so if you look at song 2, it is the 0 argument constructor, but then I set all the artist, the title, artist, and duration. So let's get rid of this. And let's do it again, and maybe this will make more sense. All right, so I'm coming in here. I'm going to clear this. I will go a little bit bigger for you. And let's go back over to the other class or the other directory. Let's Java C everything. All right, let's go back to our classes. And then let's Java song driver. Oh, it looks like we still have it. Now, my first, in my mind, to first go, we didn't save it. And sure enough, look at that. It's a gray dot. Okay, the gray dot of grayness. All right, so I have to Command C and save it first. Okay, and now we got to go back over there. Sorry, you guys. This is a short one, so don't worry about it. CD back, and let's Java C everything. There it is. CD back over to classes, and let's Java song driver. All right, there we go. And, well, let me zoom out and then zoom back in. So there you go. You got Earth, Wind, and Fire set at night 403, and you got 0, 0, and 0. Okay, so that was kind of a neat deal for the constructor, and some kind of behind the scenes feelings about constructors. All right, you got parameters and arguments. We talked a little about that. We talked about global and local variables. All right, so if you create a multiple argument constructor, you got to go in and put in the default. If you're not going to have a multiple, you get the default for free. So figure out if that's really something you want to do. And remember, you can always set them with the getters and setters. Okay, Mr. Lou's big three, done kind of backwards. Let's go to the board and show you, give you some more little insight and convention so you can understand what's going on. Okay. All right, so now we're over here on the stack and heap, and I wanted to talk and bring this home a little bit too. When we first declare our variable, okay, so think about global variables, okay? If you declare a variable over here, and we didn't really declare it right away in our instance variables, we actually did it in our driver. We actually declared song1, okay? So song1 was declared. So over here, I think the key word is, this is where you declare. Okay, I hope that's spelled right. Maybe it's I-R. Anyway, so this is where you declare your variables. All right. Now, as soon as you go S1 equals, okay, and then you use the word new, that means you're instantiating the variable. Okay, so declaring a variable is different than instantiating the object. Okay, so when I go S1 equals new, okay, song, okay, it now creates an object on here. And you could declare something without setting it equal. You could just set it early in the program, like you could even put it up in the instance variables. But you don't need to actually set it to anything until you're ready to instantiate it. And remember, this is just the small word is instance. Okay, so instantiation is a derivative of or instance is a derivative of instantiation. Okay, so over here we had a song object, and remember it just did title, and it did artist, and it did seconds, or duration. I guess I should put in what it is. Okay. All right, so as soon as you go S1 equals or use the new command, your object gets created on the heap memory. Okay, so that was also something that students got a little confused on, hey, how come you're declaring this, but the object isn't created yet? And also when you go equals, it creates that pointer reference. Okay, there you go. And you could declare another one. Okay, you could go song2. And somewhere in here, you could go song2 equals song1. Okay, remember it's right into left. So therefore, song2 in this case, we didn't use the new word. We just set song2 equal to song1, which just creates this pointer, and it points to that song also, and it gets instantiated. Okay, so these are some class composition things I wanted you to see. There might be more questions as this is popping up. If I went and deleted S2, okay, it would delete this reference, all right, but this would still be around because there's something pointing to it. Now, if I deleted S1, this automatically gets deleted with garbage collection. So an object just doesn't float on your heap sitting there, nothing pointing to it. As soon as all references get deleted, it gets deleted, and that's called automatic garbage collection. Okay, so those are just some cleanup messages I want to get to you on our Chalk Talk here. It was very nice, and let's go ahead and clean this up and end this session. Okay, there we go. So these are class compositions, and they're a big part of the AP test. So it's important to get all this done. All right. So Paul, did you get all that? Cool. All right. Yeah. Cool. All right. So that does it for this episode. Hope that you enjoyed it. Remember, always trying to make you great and help you innovate. So until next time, what, Paul? What? Yeah. Right. And if you have questions, you can leave the comments below or go to the website at www.mightycodecoder.com or find me on Twitter at mightycodecoder. By the way, if email is your thing, there's my email right there. Got it? Thanks for watching.